Hello and welcome to Storytime Sunday.
Hey guys!
Yeah, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about how we were meant to be together. Now that may sound just like a
Cliche.
Oh, that's a sweet feeling they have, but like, no.
We were meant to be together.
Like, so many crazy things happened, just fell into place perfectly so that things would work out with us.
Yeah. So how does it start? How do we start here?
How do we
Where
start?
do we start?
Usually for story time, Cody and I will like go over the details, just to get everything straight in our head. Refresher before we tell the story. Today we're like, let's not.
We're not doing it.
Let's just do this and see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember too, guys, this was a long time ago. And I don't want to leave anything out for like posterity's sake,
Yeah, we gotta remember all this stuff.
We have to remember the details. I wish we would have made this years ago.
We'll start to 2008?
That's the year I graduated high school.
Yep. So, in 2008, I was serving an LDS mission in San Jose, California. And I was away from my family, all alone, and I was kind of struggling with like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Like, I don't know. It was just like pressing on my mind, like, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And the thought came to my mind, cardiovascular surgeon. So I felt very inspired. Cardiovascular surgeon.
He didn't even know what that was.
I had no clue what it was. I was like, what the heck? Like, where? Like, I looked it up later that day, and I was like, heart surgeon. That's cool. And went with it, like didn't have too much thoughts of it and like all the work that would have to go into that. But it kind of eased my mind. I didn't have to worry about where I was going to be in the future. I could focus on what I was doing.
Right that moment.
Right that moment, being there. And so that's where I'm starting this story. Fast forward 2 years almost, I met this beautiful lady.
Only because his friend and my friend were dating, and they both knew that we both wanted to be cardiovascular
surgeons. That's how we met.
The only reason
we met, yeah. So, inspiration? I think so.
And I had wanted to be a cardiovascular surgeon for as long as I can remember. Like, that was end goal. That was Kenzie's dream since I was probably 9 or 10 years old. Like, that's just what I wanted to be. So my best friend, Stephanie, she knew that. We talked about it all the time. I was enrolled for pre-med classes. Like, I was just focused on that for the future. Mm-hmm. And the boy that she happened to be dating, Cody had just mentioned that to him. Yep, so that was lucky that you had mentioned that to him.
In my same mission, we were companions. And so
they introduced us.
Crazy world.
Yeah.
They get to date each other, and then they introduce us.
Only because of that.
We wanted to be cardiovascular surgeons. We told the whole Storytime Sunday about how we met, the day we met. So you can go watch that. We'll link it above. But what are some other events? Why are we together?
I would say a big one. And I don't know if Cody's going to remember this because, guys, I tell Cody things and he forgets them very easily.
What are you talking about? I have the best memory in the world.
No, but one of my very best friends my whole life, his name is Dave. We were super, super close. Our families were super close. We hung out almost daily growing up, and people always wanted us to date. He was a year older than me. And I think one time my dad even told him, if you kiss Kenzie, I'll give you $100. Just because my dad wanted me to date him.
Did not know that.
My dad wanted me to date him so badly, and we tried like once to hold hands, and we were like, ew. Because we were just like brother and sister.
They did kiss.
A pet kiss once, and it was seriously, it was like, what in the heck? Nothing against Dave, not saying anything, but our dynamic and our relationship was more like brother and sister. So when we would try to make that work, it just wasn't happening as much as...
Where are you going with this, babe?
Oh my gosh. So when Cody and we had just hung out a couple times. Like, it wasn't serious. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend. We had just hung out a couple times. And I really, really liked him. But I was also writing Dave, who was on his mission in Germany at the time. And still, same, just friendship. But I had this small feeling of like, should we try to date? Like, maybe we're just too immature. And so I wrote Dave a letter that was like, hey, let me know what you think, but I think maybe we should try to date when you get home. Like, no pressure, but maybe we should try to date when you get home.
This was before she met me.
No.
Oh, no? Oh, wow.
No. This was like maybe like the week we met each other.
So this was after you met me. You wanted to date another guy?
Oh my gosh.
Say how it is.
No. Oh my gosh. But I sent him this letter and I just never got a response, which actually worked out perfectly for me because Cody and my relationship progressed so quickly. And like almost immediately after I sent that letter, I regretted it because I'm like, uh-oh, I have really, really strong feelings for Cody. And so I almost felt bad that I had sent that letter. Like, that was a mistake. Why did I send that? Well, I never got a response. And I was like, okay, maybe he was just like, no, I don't want to date you. And so I was like, well, sweet. That worked out perfectly for me because then Cody and I were super serious and he proposed. And we actually went to Dave's homecoming together engaged. So like I was wearing a ring when Dave got home from his mission. And the letter that I sent him that I never got a response to, it talked about my finger, my injury. I remember bringing it up and he was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I sent you pictures. And he's like, yeah, I never got that letter. So to me, that was like a huge sign because he never got the letter of me saying, hey, maybe we should date. So I was like, oh my gosh, that was like divine intervention of like someone just saying like, nope, you're not supposed to be with him. So that, I don't know, I've talked to my sisters a lot about that. I felt like that was a huge sign to me of like, no, you're supposed to be with Cody.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. And then also this guy.
I was in the process of going back to college after my mission, and
Cody has a super solid group of best friends from
Yeah.
his whole life. Like,
oh yeah,
solid group.
shout out to Dallin, Joey, John, all those guys,
Steve.
Matt, Steve. Anyways, but we were planning on going to college together, so we were all gonna go dorm in some dorm room, whatever. And
Dorm in some dorm.
who knows? I don't know.
Be roommates, you
Be
know.
roommates. We had all that planned, and so we went to this
They all applied.
apartment complex. We all put in our submissions, and this was, I was dating you for about, what, a month?
couple weeks. Like, because we were dating, but it still wasn't to that point.
It wasn't to the point
we
where
were
I'm like,
serious.
oh, I'm going to get married to this girl, so I'm not going to go live with these
Yeah.
guys. So we all put our applications into this
Together,
apartment
to live
complex. All of them got accepted, except me. And I was like, what the heck?
He was super bummed at
like,
first.
we all put this in, like, we all wanted
Yeah.
to be there, and
Like, all my best friends are going to be living together, but me.
yeah, and so I ended up not even going to college that semester. Like, all my classes I wanted, I couldn't get into, and so I ended up just not going that semester, and
We got married.
we got married.
And as we were talking about it, because we got married in October, so that would have been like very early on in the semester.
Yeah.
We're like, we couldn't have gotten married at that time because you would have been tied into a housing contract with all your buddies, you know? So
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just weird how he applied with all of them, same time, wanted to live together. All of them were accepted
One thing
except
after
him.
the other. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was just crazy, like
Meant to be.
super meant to be. Do you remember when?
Do I remember?
That's a bad question for Cody.
Of course I remember. What do I remember?
Do you remember when we decided we were gonna get married? Mind you, it was probably
In-
like
in
5
your
weeks after
basement?
we met.
I remember. I don't remember.
Well, we were at like this big wrestling tournament, me and my family. And I had me and Shelby and Maddie, we had to keep score and judge and everything. And it's full 2 days, exhausting. And I just remember being like, oh, this sucks. And Cody was at work. Well, he surprised me and just showed
decided to
up
surprise
there.
her, yep.
And I was so excited.
Took work off early, headed up there,
I was so excited.
completely blindsided her.
Well, and because it was a 2-day event and it was about half hour from my parents' house, he just left his car there, rode home with my family, and he spent the night with us and then went back to the wrestling tournament the next day. But I just remember dropping you off after the second day of the tournament, and my whole family got in the car. You guys know my family. And my dad looks in the rearview mirror. He looks at me, he shuts the music off, and he's like, everyone quiet, Kenzie talk. And I was like, what?
Spill your guts.
What do you want me to talk about? And he was like, what are you smiling about? Talk, what's going on with Cody? And I just remember like I got the biggest smile, I couldn't stop, and I just said, I'm gonna marry him. And both my parents, I think my mom started crying. My dad was just laughing. And all my siblings were like, oh my gosh, like freaking out. But I was like, I'm going to marry him. Because we had just talked about it the night before.
Yep. In our basement. And we were just chilling there talking. And I'm going to marry you. Mm-hmm. Just kind of straight up said that. And it wasn't like, what do you think about getting married? It's like, we're going to get married.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't a discussion. It was just like, I'm going to marry you. And
how did you feel?
Amazing about it. Like, I don't know. I asked my parents. I couldn't stop smiling. I was so happy. Like,
makes me happy.
What they love is that I could be myself. Like, a lot of boys I had dated, because I'd had some serious relationships before, I couldn't be 100% myself in front of them. So they loved how I was completely myself in front of Cody. They loved how happy I was, like truly happy, not just smiling. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It was crazy because every time we'd see each other, like the second Cody would pull up to my parents' house, like I'd sprint outside, he'd sprint to me, and he'd like pick me up. And like that was our greeting every time we'd see each other.
Oh yeah. Run in the door, give her a hug.
It was just so cute. And I just remember thinking at the time, like, that's so weird. And I know you were bummed that you didn't get in the housing and be like, why wouldn't he get in? Like, it almost made me mad because I get like super protective and defensive of people I love. And I was like, that makes me want to call someone. Like, that's bullcrap. Why didn't he get in there?
I think I even put a down payment down
You
and
did.
I never got it back. I don't think I got it back.
Because I remember I was in your car with you when you dropped it off in like the little drop box.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have been able to get married when we did. And
hindsight's 2020.
it's just crazy. Like, it may not seem like big deals to you, but
These are pretty life-changing events.
those are three big things that's like, we wouldn't have met. We wouldn't have got married when we did. And who knows, maybe we wouldn't have gotten married at all if we didn't, you know? I don't, it's just crazy how things work out, but
just awesome.
crazy
Meant
stuff,
to be.
and it makes me happy.
Love you.
I love you too.
But anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know. I feel like we're forgetting something.
I'm sure there's lots of little things. Like, we absolutely love smothered burritos. That was a big sign for me, you know? Not too many people like smothered burritos.
Not too many people could throw down like him. No, but I do want to state, because I don't know, I feel like sometimes watching these videos on YouTube and seeing couples on YouTube, you can get this picture in your head of like, they have the perfect relationship. Like, they never argue, they never fight, their life is perfect.
Oh.
That is so not true. Like, and obviously we are in charge of what we film and what we don't film. Even if we film it, we're in charge of what we include, what we don't include. So like, we want you guys to know.
Life is not perfect.
No, and as happy as we are together and as much as we know we were meant to be together, we have had hard times and we fight, we argue.
Fine. Especially since she's been pregnant, it's like all the time.
He's like, wait, was this the right decision?
Why is
to
she
marry
yelling
her?
at me right now? I don't know. Love you, babe.
I love you too. But no, so I really want to make that clear. Like, don't think.
Yeah. No relationship is perfect.
Yeah, don't think I can't be in this relationship because Cody and Kenzie don't fight. And it's, no, we fight, you guys.
Yeah. You got to make it work. Like, you got to work at it to make it work, I guess.
You do. And I do want to kind of do a video on like our marriage tips. We're not experts by any means. We've only been married for almost 8 years. So it's not like I just want to like spout out this knowledge to you guys, but maybe
it could help you guys. If you're not married, you know, things to look for.
Just talk about what works for us and what's been super important in our marriage, and hopefully it can help you guys. So that is a video I want to do. But again, please don't think we're perfect or we don't argue, because we're just normal and we argue and we fight. And
but we were meant to be.
We were, and we know that for a fact, and I love knowing that.
And that's a good thing that we can base our relationship on. Like, we're meant to be together, and it's a good foundation that we both know and can build upon. But that's going to be it for us today.
Yeah, that's it, you guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We love talking to you guys over there.
Yep. So if you're not subscribed, please do.
Please. We're almost to 3,600.
Yeah, if you want to hit that bell, be notified when we upload, be the first to watch or comment. But we love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.
So much. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Usually for... Oh, hang on. Sorry. Guys. Okay. Kenzie eyes. We need to start hashtag Kenzie's eyes suck. Hashtag Kenzie's eyes. Eye roll emoji. Something.